Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
As gyda môr ag pils an guldas gag an siodot nish Claare na Gael, a shame a hat you say osaldicha. My name is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have I heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
And it's my pleasure to present this bilingual programme Claare na Gael, with part of it in the English language as leis Perchi Sahilg, and with part of it in the Manx Gaelic, Chinianamera, the mother tongue of Allen Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Banachtan de Trish, well, the island's history, of course, is not all one of joy by any means, and the 10th of May is the anniversary of a tragedy here in the island which took place in 1897. The Laxey Mining Research Group describes the events at the Snaefell Mine, also known as the East Snaefell Mine, the Great Snaefell Mine, also known as the East Snaefell Mine. Sa smunionem mer an nín eig on sgil ferish na breirich yn grim ti chobben a sniachta. As rare bun J. Shen, mywys I chobben a sniachta eis the belly J. Bennett sniachti, a shen an enam tammy a chor or isa chinde a shaw. Breton singer Gwenin here sings in Breton, showing the languages perfectly at home in a contemporary setting. Tawas geestiach rish Radio Vanning station en asjoen we skolder skelia maag, wai doelish Allen Vanning.
L'arrête-toi Bétine, te fais emmener, m'avait fait par Ziska, à garantie trison. L'arrête-toi Bétine, prends fente vel. Agar ogente a bedovon Disque-toi Bettin Non son aben Gadar wana gondiba Bidma on zedazun Disque-toi Bettin Shilau mis marron Heb de relkom de santu du kes Non Pesio, hawas condu da hiu. Goulet-toi Bétine, et sau de vos guerres. Nazifen malor à ma grandeur. Goulet-toi Bétine, réal gualter. Kendavan deux en trombinac, et calin deux efforts. Connais-toi Bétine, ton désespoir.
And that's Breton singer Gwenin, and she was singing the song Donaison. Gwenin is from Rennes, and she attended one of the Diwan Breton-speaking schools. Her family were Breton-speaking at home, and the school was actually run by her uncle, so I suppose she couldn't really dodge that one. We turn to the account of the Laxey Mining Research Group now. Lying just in the shadow of Snaefell Mountain are the remains and reminders of what was once the scene of a terrible disaster. Mining commenced about 1856. The final depth of the mine was 171 fathoms, 1,026 feet, or 313 metres. The workings were kept dry with pumps driven by a water wheel, although it's not known how many stages of pumping there were. The shaft was divided into 3 compartments for the purpose of pumping, climbing, and the raising of ore, as was the case of most mines. Compressed air was used for drilling at Snaefell, and the 2 air pipes shared the same section of shaft as the rising main from the pumps. The mine was kept in good condition, as was the report from Captain Redcliffe on Wednesday the 5th of May 1897, and again the mine was inspected on the 7th by the Assistant to Her Majesty's Inspector of Mines, Mr. Williams. For ben rein wishel son perche, as rugger I nien cho ben as sneachta, leis melen cho jurgus fool, as leis fault cho do as a frame snage ek virgintas ebony. A chwr ben rein bes, as plain na san mi ren na ri puserish. Van na ben chesje ege vier eilen, ach, bi fi bornach as wanlach. But gles chwr stal obiek, as vi klachter, as men klachter ek, ve na shadow roi as braiach gi. Gles chwr stal a volle mortau, quai wissen versela as you jou. As jinnige gles chwr stal fregert, she osten versela as you jou. As vi jint boeiach, no drau fissek, drau a gles chwr stal lorten erinje. Ol you en tre sjov a benid sneachti chit de vei na spwei as na spwei. As trevi shaach blina deish, vi cho eilen as an lei, foden a salen en ven rein. Leider au haie ven rein senach kajinek as a gles chwr stal, as doorti gles chwr stal a volle mortau, quaibis en versela as you jou. Now this is a Manx traditional song comparing how things used to be with how they are now. Not for the better, I'm afraid. This is Brian Maxdole.
Kit vemi ach nish tami shan, Kit vadever ninim ach nish an elanen, Kistan a gillian aga solen sliarish mren. Santa grai mayon ach fos ta grai sai, Kiert hog mi grai de beneg ach ve grai rovai, Kistan a gillian aga solen sliarish mren. Va bilja begge son skere mere, Vis gillian a banglen en aga fodas lin, Kistan a gillian aga solen sliarish mren. Ve garish van eksheden, ve krauer den jesuri, Harau sekons a kiel, quai jau the rai, Kastane gillian aga soren slarish mren. De beiden serve meri, saher shen mahai, Na shul von a Belgian, merish magrai, Kistane gillian aga soren slarish mren. Tre vashin petchin on sheden vashin clay, ach tre des Isus, hai machas jaimi moi, Kistane gillian aga soren slarish mren. Tre va mi roshnish maghelje begdui, Va pegachan na lurim, ach nish an elmi kui, Kistane gillian aga soren slarish mren.
Brian MacStole and the song Aish as Nish, Then and Now, which appears in A.W. Moore's Manx Ballads and Music, and in a footnote he says it was collected orally from a Mr. Winter, Jamster Rau Eschen an Tuibur. A gegeerd seo, dregger a gleshúr stal, ven rain, tawas eilen, shiger te, ach na srela fós a benid sneacht die spui. Hug seo grain voer a ven rain, as henky de way bui as glass lesh true, as by noor shen gin de a chriek de way nai benid sneachti, as we doei urry. As ren true as morn gorish sargel ledden adi, na surge dag leis a chriek, der an a rau she faggetji luid na e. For jera huggy aims on shell gair de hit as doorty, gin corliat a fedje maak murts a Gael, nach gin the coolien gin oriarach, sign dutch cori gebes as gin corliat a cree ek dow morcaurajay. Ren a shell gair cordale as ren ili jaili arsul, ach trer an I tarmach yn chliw vara eged o brod a cri ona benid sniagti, gawi toiach ko as doorti, o shell gair veen, na gaw maviois, nim gol arsul sa Gael fai, ach a ginum chit tai rish. Now he, Mr. Williams, Her Majesty's Inspector of Mines, reported in writing on the 7th of May that the ventilation was very good, with particular attention being paid to explosives, ladderways, fencing and machinery. The mine was in fact given a clean bill of health. On the morning of Monday the 10th of May, a little after 6 a.m., the morning shift of 35 men descended into the shaft. Shortly afterwards, several men came to the surface in an exhausted condition, stating that the mine was full of foul gas. Captain Collier immediately sent for assistance from Laxey before starting a descent of the shaft to assess the situation. On his descent, he met several men dead beat, trying to make their way up the ladder and fighting for breath. Between the 45 and 60 fathom level, he found others, still alive but quite unconscious. Immediately, Captain Collier had holes punched in the air pipes, with a view of improving the ventilation in the shaft, which did give some relief. Well, last Friday was the 8th of May, and in Helston in Cornwall, that's Flora Day, when, after the early morning Hallan Tow, as we heard there, long lines of people take part in the furry dance, the Helston Flora, led by Helston Town Band that we heard marching past us there. Stasiwn yn asiwn sian dy ffyr, Radio Fanning as creib y sio ach Claare na Gael tar y chlas neg yn treid on. Mish Robert gytyn cors o Robert y corslach.
Have you heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
O ffod i weis jach rys Claare na Gael, rys siacht yn lwg di gulr sgelia mach, glwr ys gulgus yn y deg Radio Fanning as brw a craman eis rys. De podcast J. Claare na Gael regedden nastiniest, trud in de Radio Fanning, na trud en reichier de podcast ed. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. The work of rescue continued with great difficulty until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when James Neal, the last survivor, was brought to the surface. By now, the rescuers were thoroughly exhausted, and Captain Cawley himself had made no less than 10 journeys. During the evening, Mr. Williams, who was still on the island, and by now, on hearing the news, had returned to the mine and immediately set about organising a further rescue attempt. Mr. Williams and a miner named Frederick Christian descended to the 100-fathom level, passing 3 bodies at the 74-fathom level, and more bodies blocking the ladder way at the 100-fathom level. They decided to proceed no further, as their strength was failing, and so made their way up the shaft, where they met the rest of the rescue party at the 60-fathom level, who also complained of weakness. As verder au Bernard sniachti hubwech, when Gael Gael chimaji, as durte, suliat esh ma fetje wach. Noder au shigge de jinnach na been fai iish, as we mordeberg klager we rolich soelwein griege, tre renne ligge lesh by cor gebesi. Kaartig en tollach shen henk kollach wach all de raisha, mar so renne turten as maraway, as look de gol mach as a kriege, renne cor lesheg as a ben rain son kaura. As we silent as cogrich, as ren a drach ven slugge shise, as ish smunnion der au shen, jera J. Bernard sniachti. Ach nish tre huren yin weg der au sledden de lummerken, se geel fai, jeni ledden de hatchum. Eer rost na dulligen heen na bilgen, as grauw fissek na de yinu kunte an aalweg. Esch, gauw toig de rij harish na klagen birach, as trud na tamagen de greinen, as na been alde na lorg. A granada the RBG. Now, according to the old-style calendar, when the sun goes down on the modern 11th of May, that's Eve Alden, and when the sun rises on the 12th, that's Lab Alden, when it was time to collect the May morning dew, as here with Dolores Kane.
How pleasant in winter to sit by the hearth, listening to the barks and the howls of the dog, or in summer to wander the white valleys through, and to pluck the wild flowers in the May morning dew. Summer is coming, oh summer is here, with the leaves on the trees and the sky blue and clear, the birds, they are singing their fond notes so true, and the flowers they are springing in the May morning dew. The house I was reared in is but a stone on a stone, and all round the garden the weeds they have grown, and all the kind neighbours that ever like the red rose that withered in the May morning dew. God be with the old folks who are now dead and gone, and likewise my brothers, young Dennis and John, as they trip through the heather, the wild hare to pursue, as their joys they were mingled in the May morning dew.
Dolores Kane and Moving Hearts with a wonderful atmospheric version of the song May Morning Dew. Rennie rai goud is jinnach na kaden ek immergie. Streven faster beg tarnig ere, henkig as tai beg, as heist jage on de royal fee. But de chulje nies a tai fee beg. Ach, a jesh is geglendes were possible. Van ik jade won shen, a boer beg, is de chulje rid courage erluwer hanna, as kudich lesh enrich ben. Les schacht mogget en begge, as schacht skinnen as alen as zeggen nieuw. Jorische bolle ban in schaduw schacht liabach en begge, tjaurig jou, kudich les korjeden glenne bijna. Ren bennet snjachti, jere ver wie 4 agresach as vech, vai dacht mogget, beggen de foddish as de aran, as juwi vai dacht caban beg, bain de fien. Ons zacht nog duggy kjon rein lie bijou. Lurk sjen wie gennachten husky der any leishis ons vergein al jabachen. A grauwigi in de bij koeigi. Ba verjou rol jouwer, verelje rol jer. Ach verjere, van schacht ul jabi leddengaard. With no possibility of further rescue, the grim task of recovery commenced on the 12th, and 3 bodies had been brought to the surface by 11 o'clock in the evening. The work continued the next day, when 10 bodies had been sent up, and it was a week later before a party of volunteers recovered 5 more bodies from the 115 fathom level. Proceeding to the 130-fathom level, one miner knelt down and held a lit candle below the platform, which immediately went out, indicating the absence of oxygen. Mr. Williams sent for bottles of water to be brought down, and on receiving them descended below the platform and proceeded to pour out the water. As they drained, the poisonous gas replaced the liquid, and the bottles were fortunately secured, and the bottles were corked. On collecting a third air sample, Mr. Williams instantly became unconscious, but was fortunately secured to a rope and was hauled to safety. Now, Welsh band Bob Dylan ar y Billion have got the wind, or at least that's the title of their song, A Gwynt.
Do mi fu mi gynt yn rodio fel adyn yma thraw, rhwng y môr a'r mynydd fel y gwynt o flaen y glaw. Fel di'r awr. Gweld y byd drwy gilyn llygad, gweld tegwch ym mhob tir, gloeddwr yn yr afon a dail y coed yn mir, fel di'r awr. Mae'r rhaid I rywun ddweud yr hyn sydd ar ei galon o, a dyna beth dwi'n neud, ffal i'r awr. Mae'n ddillad ffair bala, heb sychu ar y lein, a chai ddim mynd I ffair bala, os na dwi'n gwisgo'r hein o ffal i'r awr. O ffal i'r awr. Gyfeillion ffal. Yr un fath ar awelaeth a'r hen Elias gynt i'r ne, o'r ffal di'r awr.
And that's Bob Dylan ar Ebyllion. And Tom Morris won the Eisteddfod chair for his poetry, as though he's a prif ardd, and he writes songs and he sings there with the band Bob Dylan ar Ebyllion. Bob Dylan, by way of a joke, of course, literally means every harp, in fact. And Ebyllion is the Welsh word for gimlets or augers. Mr. Williams's mouth was held open to a hole in the air pipe to revive him. That afternoon, a party of volunteers from Foxtel descended to the 130-fathom level where Mr. Williams had become unconscious, and reported seeing a body some 10 feet below. A mouse was put into a cage made from its revolving treadwheel and a candle attached to the top. A descent was made to the 155 level, and a test was made with the mouse at each platform. On arriving at the bottom of the 4th ladder, the cage was lowered and the candle went out. It could be seen that the little animal was distressed and was immediately pulled up to recover. After some days, a test made from the surface showed that the level of bad air had gone down, and it was concluded that the ventilation doors in the levels were open and not shut as previously thought. Mr. Williams, Captain Collier and Mr. Jones descended to the 100-fathom level and found 2 doors open. Mar so hug Bennett sneachtaí hín de lai síos an seachtú liabi. Hug I sí oil I hín risneau, as hut sí na cadla. Trebe ledden dorcha hengt meister an a taide valia. Seach cribassan bad, as van geurjock de raure fo hollow masten a slegen. Treb an a cribassan an erfod an a seach kainlenok, as we ledden solosaks a tai beg, honnig at er au pech enjach gin auris beon, no er au de chuljunis a reiches gedin, as wat ne Gaeli. Doort an gid koit ne chiadus a stalbeg Doort na koit we gi jen vog begem. Doort an tras koit an oil me willien weg. Doort a chiero koit we goil blast jen fotashem. Doort de chwege koit we jonoime jen aal begem. Doort an sheo koit we gyare lesje skind wegem. Doort an shacht koit we giu as ma chaban beg. A Scottish band from Ellion the Isle of Mists, the Isle of Skye, and they're called Fallasker. The recording engineer involved was a certain Adam Rhodes, in fact, as Fallasker played their composition, Milk.
Manx Radio!
Sure dat station en asjoen radio banningers en sure she Claare na Gael was verglaasjen, mer en pien, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert de Karslag.
Did the ever hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Esh ren en gid gribassan, gaus we Jean McGeert, fagen liags a liabiege, as Dame Mac, quite erbij na lions maljabi. As hek na firelje, as uts een rijge sen, as demad, te peeg enjach erbij ons na ljabig en ingen nis. Ach trei ich een schaachtu ljabi egge, hanneke benet snjaachti weg na lion shen, as ish na kadle. Esch dintje shen den a firelje. As denked, as uts een rijge sen, as wat gillach maag se jindesach, as renned kummel soes na sjaach kind en beggeak, de jou seilje benet snjaachti. Komme? She banny me, Diliad, creen petje bwech de shaw. As wat geleden de voge de agony, nog rennen doesti, ach rennet liegegi kadle fors. As rennen sjaach toe gribassan golde lai rish na cumregen egge rish oerlesh kaach, derre vani angol sja. Treven more erjit ren benet snjaachti dusta. The conclusion was that the air was deficient in oxygen at 15.48% and contained 4.26% carbon monoxide, sufficient to overcome a man in 7 minutes. The Inspector of Mines, Clement Lennie Foster, was of the opinion that this could only result from an underground fire. On the afternoon of the 16th of June, Lennie Foster and a Dr. Haldane descended to the 130 level to investigate the seat of the fire which had been found by Captain Collier and Mr. Williams earlier in the day. 630 yards north of the shaft, the level was found to be completely blocked by rubbish that had fallen from workings above, as the supporting timbers had been destroyed by fire. The conclusion was that a candle had been left which caused a timber to smoulder and ignite. As the 130 level was very dry, the timbers would have little difficulty in burning. Now we heard Breton singer Gwenin with a song in the Breton language in a contemporary setting. This is very much a traditional setting, as Chwarazed Gwadeg, the Gwadeg sisters, sing a Breton folk song about Quarantenig et ti Elisiza.
Alas, biwes on levin na gula we nitra nitra. Men vide nitra nitra. Men vide. Mi reida vitjurne no juden deus. Ma bel mire no juden deus. Ma bel mire.
We've often heard the Chwarazed Gwadeg singing in the Can-Discan style for Breton dancing, but there we heard Eugénie Gwadeg singing about Corantenig eti Elisiza, and that's all about the little girl Corantine, Corantenig, because that's the diminutive ending there, and she's in the house of Elisiza. These two doors that had been found open at the 100-fathom level were then closed to help ventilation at the lower levels. On the Saturday morning, tests with the mice showed that there was little change, meaning that the door on the 130 level was open, allowing air going down the shaft to pass through this level. A further descent was made by a party of men who lowered a tame, a longtail, a ringy, and a candle to the point where the poor miner lay dead. The light went out and the animal was left for 5 minutes or so, but when brought up was found to be alive. The air was tested daily, and on the 17th of June it was finally considered safe enough to descend to the 130 level. A party of men went down and recovered the last body, that of Robert Kelly. Within this time, the inquest had got underway, and a report had been submitted on the 19th of May, 1897. Tre honnig benid sniachdi na siach crefassanen va al múrori. Ach na iai van na crefassanen gin de benid sniachdi de vei joel de lŵr. As vrije gi an enemek, as dinchi shen dau. As eis vrije gi an acht henki de veis de taiok. As dinchi dau an acht ren a lias boirek wishel de bergi courage gebes, as an acht man shelger liga lesher bioisek. As an acht wie a rai fai en kledden lei, der a verjere wie a ngedden a tai begok. Eis doort na crevassanen, maar we so frail a tai ein en son, as kogere, as nie, as ginu skocht na liabach an ein, as huele, as nittel, as frail de chol rid jesh as glen, for you tannacht an meren, as gebiu ons fame jbeg. Lesh ol you machri doort benid sniachti, as morsor en I tannachten on shen, as hog I dai a tai. Sa vora, hain na crevassanen gus a cliw de raurus on air. Sa njaster beg henke tai, as when shiver de way earlier in son. Now here Greg Jochen leads the Mollig Band in his song about the hungry dragon.
Take these children in your arms and never let them go. Don't leave them by the roadside, do not leave them in the snow. Theirs is only held in trust, and should it be let go, now wouldn't that be so unjust to confiscate the rights for them to know, and take from those who yet to grow? Fly away now, Lucifer, and leave these creatures be. I believe that you have plans of which I don't think they'd agree. Just the grey seal's breath away, your limit once was free, will end up in some distant day, and the jackdaw calls and the birds are there to those she knows that do not care. Smoke turns high and burns the sky when the hungry dragon roars. The rain falls down and burns the ground. Don't tell me that it's needed for political stability, economic consult my sensibilities, and the jackdaw calls. Say, do you know which way left there is to go? Them of the cyclical, and that it's not so hard to go down or pay up. So take your glass and fill it up, and drink to the end of the plastic cup, and the jackdaw in the inners of day without a care.
The Mollock Band and The Hungry Dragon, Greg leading the way there on his song, The Hungry Dragon. Fine Cledden lay, for Bernard sneacht die faggot sledden a lummerken. Ook na crebassen en Maya rouwd en boodjen de stoortad. Be de hui je de liaspoor. Be fissek de lie de wellewoon shaw. Na lig de pecher wie chits jaagse taai. Lurkten wen rein krie Bernard sneachti, maar wie shielten. Wie shigger nish de rauw ish heen en chid wen seile. As, maar so, henkie gus a glas hoerestal ek. At the inquest, we mentioned that the inquest would have been held on the 19th of May 1897. At the inquest, Captain Redcliffe explained that a practice of the miners was to place a newly burned-out candle up against the side of his working place and to light a new candle from it. He might then snuff it out or leave it to burn so as to be used for lighting a fuse. Captain Redcliffe was able to collect 5 other cases of timbers igniting from a candle. The consequence of it on this occasion was the build-up of carbon monoxide, which caused the death of 19 miners, and that was in the Great Snaefell Mine not long after 6 a.m. on Monday, the 10th of May, 1897. Cart de lures tashin an arjit gus jeran tre bis lawit dun rish. Chris Pearson will be your host from 7 to 9 as he brings you 2 hours of the best in chill-out music for your Sunday evening. And then at 9 o'clock, Judith Lay presents Sundown into the early hours of Monday morning. To close Claare and Gael is music from Cornish duo Lesky with the hammered dulcimer of Carenza and the fiddle of Richard Trethewey, and they're joined by Simon Lockley-Brown on guitar and Steve Hunt on Crowder Crawn. Ach, Sinead the Jara was Merceau until the next time then. This is Robert Cutting-Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Levi McCreort, as Duts, my Yeri and Share.